Philadelphia. There is nothing better than looking like a complete idiot. The Eagles have absolutely crushed whatever is left of the Tennessee Titans. My goodness. 35-10. And Gardner Minshew's still hanging out with about a minute left. But, we decided to get this thing started a little early. John Barchard, Vince Quinn, Taylor Kredatus. We are just hanging out at Sandbox Studios all day. Vince Quinn, I'm on my third cup of coffee. We've had some delicious chicken, some fries, and A.J. Brown and fucking Jalen Hurts being absolutely dominant today. How are you, sir?
Yeah, we've had chicken, fries, coffee, and John, allow me to have some tea. I'm going to sip some tea. You could not have a better game than this from the Philadelphia Eagles today. For everything that this city has wanted to see from this team, from the coaching staff, what they did today was ridiculous. I mean, Britton Covey looked good today.
Oh, stop it.
He actually returned the ball for positive yards.
Better today, yes.
Which for him, competent is great for him.
Yep.
So, everything hit today. And for them to do the way that they won this game and blew that team out of the water, answered every question that everybody what's a better scenario than this today? You shut down Derrick Henry. Let me get Derrick Henry's stat line today because it was a total joke. Derrick Henry, 11 carries for 30 yards. Oh my God, they destroyed him. Jordan Davis, who only played a handful of snaps, not a major factor. They dominated in the run game, coverage sacks like crazy in this one. Passing game goes off. They dominated everywhere. This was a big-time win from a team that the city was asking for. They did it in every way you could imagine.
Yeah, they asked for a lot, including, the penalties were still there. That's why I'm going to say, it's not exactly the cleanest game in the world, nor do I think it has to be it was a badly ref game on top of that too, but man, you said it. The offensive line dominated the Titans from freaking start to finish. They were having so much trouble. Jalen Hurts had so much time back there, and they didn't waste any time with the running game at all. They knew where they were weak, and they just kept going after him. They fed A.J. Brown in the second quarter, and then pretty much all beyond that. I can't believe that there is nobody in this league that can cover that guy. No one can. No one can cover A.J. Brown. No one on earth still thinks that Jalen Hurts is playing at some non-MVP level for some reason. And if you needed a game to see those two in action again, I would probably put this one on and just go, here you go. It's probably not Patrick Mahomes MVP, but damn, the leap from where you saw this guy as a starter until now, the chemistry that they have, the balls today were outstanding. Now, the Titans were helping with all that stuff, but getting the pass interference calls twice, throwing towards A.J. Brown full well knowing that guy's not going to turn around, or once he does, A.J.'s going to have the ball in his hands. Just an outstanding day from Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. That's not going to stop anytime soon.
No, it's not.
You're looking at a 10-year thing, hopefully.
This is Bizarro, McNabb, and T.O. because it's actually good. It's good and sustainable, and they like each other. To see these guys together, because the number of times we've seen Jalen over the past couple of years here and gone, he looks like McNabb on this play or that play or whatever it is, and we've seen it with A.J. Brown. Everybody's made the comparisons. This is it. You're just getting a terrible pass defense and demolishing them. And not just for A.J. Brown, because like you said, 8 catches, 119, 2 touchdowns. Devontae Smith, 5 catches, 102 yards and a touchdown in his own right. He dominated them early.
Thank you, Shane, for finding him. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for getting a bad passing defense, spreading the team out, attacking constantly through the air in this thing early, getting the lead, and then just running away with it. The coaching had a great game today. I'm not going to say I know the full nuances of what shut down Derrick Henry. I'd like to see that again. But passing-wise, offensively with the scheme, they called a really good game today outside of 2 nitpicky moments. I thought they were phenomenal.
They did. And, folks, we are doing this live on YouTube. And for those watching on the replay and listening to us on the podcast, we are indeed watching the end of Jets Vikings as there's almost an interception as the Jets are down by 5 here with 23 seconds. We thought that this was going to be over because the Jets couldn't score on a 4th down. The Vikings, being the dumb idiots that they are, ran the ball 3 times on the back of their end zone. Kirk Cousins stinks, and the Jets are somehow driving again. So if you hear some excitement, that's why. Because to me, and we'll get into the bulkier stuff here too, but man, you are 11-1. That makes me excited towards locking this bye up here. You're a couple of games ahead. In fact, I think you'd be 3 games ahead on tiebreakers with the Vikings or Cowboys or anybody that's kind of gunning for that spot. Like, no one in the NFC scares me. The Titans, I think, had a little bit of bad luck here on top of, probably coming in with the most shittiest game plan you could probably think of to kind of counteract all this thing. So all those things are great. I just think that this is a fantastic win. And yeah, I'm happy to eat all the shit from this week. Totally happy to. Like I didn't think it would be this kind of quick of a turnaround in terms of just like there's not going to be an issue because of the Titans secondary is so bad. It's so dominating. It's all that. I'm really happy, but I'm still standing on the side of what I told you this week. It doesn't matter if they're 16-1. Like, I just want to get to the playoffs, and the Vikings intercepted. So no joy, second joy from the post game show here too. They'll wrap that up, but that doesn't concern me in the least. Like, this team is going to continue to learn and get more dominating, and that's all I want to see. Jalen's growing, AJ's growing. I just like to live in the current now. I think I've been looking way too down the road all the time. They were phenomenal today. Phenomenal today. Your two stars did everything that you're supposed to today.
Yeah, and like they did this without Dallas Goedert. And that's important because everybody's within, oh, my God, the passing offense, how are they supposed to function? No. That is not, like, I get the value of Dallas Goedert, but when your offensive line's elite, when your pass catchers are elite, when Jalen Hurts, like, we're still figuring out what the full scale of what he can do as a passer is, but his floor is amazing right now for the way he's progressed. So 29 of 39, 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
And pulled out in the fourth quarter with 11 minutes to go.
Yeah, pulled out in the fourth quarter
with
11 minutes to go. And also had a couple of key moments where he ran the ball and did it successfully. Like, this was the thing for all that. We had that show the other day. We're talking about that empty feeling that a lot of people have. If this doesn't seal it up, I don't know what else you want. That this was spreading the field, picking apart a bad team that came in. That was the plan. And the times they ran early, it was the second drive. I would figure those things were scripted and they were just giving it a look. Didn't really work. They kept passing, and they killed you with everybody. Guys that caught the ball today that were really significant. AJ, Devontae, Jack Stoll, Kenny Gainwell, who played early and often in this one. Quez had a lot of opportunity and a couple of catches. Grant Calcaterra caught a meaningful ball.
Had a nice big catch
in the back end. It was something. It wasn't completely over when he caught it. So a lot of different guys getting involved. It's nice to see the rotation with the running backs. Like, this is what it's about. Because what did we see in the Tampa Bay game? It's playing left-handed, right? It's you can run the ball really well.
Yep.
You do 3 tight ends. We're going to stack the box like crazy. Do something about it. Now, this shows that you've got some idea of playing left-handed. And now it's developing that, because obviously this is one of the worst pass defenses in the league. So I don't want to make too much about it, but seeing them plan this and execute this, it's just, how do you incorporate this more into the game plan week by week?
Well, and I don't think that's ever going to be a case, because it's all. I thought Taylor made a great point during the live stream. Like, this is what the Packers game should have looked like, and the Packers game should have looked like this, more or less. And that I think is totally fair. It played tag with one another, not to mention the amount of penalties that the Eagles had in this game, and whether it was 3rd and 11, 12, 14, 9, 2nd and 15, their own penalties, the holding penalties got in their way, some really bad, like that awful pass interference call that got negated by an offensive holding, that sucked, and they still are able to go like, yeah, no problem, here's Calcaterra for 12, here's fucking Stoll for 11, here's A.J. Brown being done, here's Devontae Smith, and in the way of, yes, and you even have said it. There are a couple of people on Twitter that ribbon me too, rightfully so, at John Barchard, at Bell and the Bird. Follow us over there if you want to. Like you said, this was like the Chicago Bears game in 17. To which I go, eesh, yeah, I guess, fine. If you want to say that, go ahead. It's probably the closest thing to it. So I'm not gonna kill you if you're gonna say like, yeah, it's the closest thing too, because it was 5 years ago. Carson Wentz sucks. So did this team. You got a good quarterback now. And yes, sure, I'll admit that. Fine. It kind of was like the Chicago beatdown from 17. I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you.
But should this propel you into excitement? Because it's not, I'm just saying, it has not done that for me yet, outside of like being really excited about what happened in the game.
Well,
this week.
It's just to see that, because the biggest fear was the running game. Oh, my God, the Titans are going to run all over us. They're a good run-blocking line. Derrick Henry, 30 yards, man. He had less than 3 yards a carry today. That's That's special. Like, that's something that really matters in this. And that was from the beginning. It's not like later in the game and the dynamics changed and the Eagles were ahead so much and whatever. Like, it was kind of junky or not what you saw. He was not a factor in this game. Derrick Henry just did not matter. They tried it a couple of times early. It didn't work immediately. And then for the other side, Ryan Tannehill couldn't pass. So
scrambling a lot early.
Yeah, and we can talk more about that because I think there's plenty to say there. But thinking about that running attack, man, I mean, for them to shut that down is one thing. And then to see them just pass at will, that's it. It's just, it's like you think they can do something like that, but you need to see them do it, and they finally did it. So all three phases of the ball, they all played well today, and both elements of those phases, right? Like mainly offense and defense, running and passing, did a really good job, and they got to feel good about that.
Yeah, on both sides of the trenches, too, when you're pointing that out, it's just like, offensively, those defensive linemen were just, their bodies were wiggling the whole time. The same, like, the opposite side. It was just like, every time that this defensive line hit him, my shoulders are shaking. You couldn't. That's why the running game was not going to work today at all, because it was just, even when they threw out odd defensive tackle rotations, like the Sue Milton Williams thing early did not work at all. And we're getting second bonus here too on the live stream because we've got Giants Commanders in a nail biter 20-20 with overtime and 10 seconds left.
Let's go tie.
It's going to end up in a tie.
Come
it's
on,
going to end up in a
baby.
ridiculous tie, and it's going to probably help neither team in the end, other than draft stock. But like that to me is like when I felt somewhere around the second quarter, I go, oh, this is not going to matter. Both trenches are so dominant on wiggling these guys around. Other than like where the touchdowns came, or the touchdown that came that mattered for the Titans was simply because like there was no inside pressure with Milton Williams and Sue. They quickly adjusted to that. I don't even think that there was many blitzes dialed up, if at all, today. It was all 4-man fronts, 5-man fronts. Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat meeting at impact. I mean, I felt really bad for Ryan Tannehill a lot today for the hits that he was taking. Oh wait, no, I didn't. But yeah, they absolutely crushed him on both sides of the ball, and that's like where we come back to with all this. Like, there's so many great things. Miles Sanders gets his afterthought touchdown, and I'm not sure how the rhythm of all this is going forward against who knows, whatever the tougher NFC opponents. By the way, Jimmy G to the locker room in the opening of the Dolphins 49ers too, so they're going to deal with
Is it going to be Nate
a lot
Sudfeld?
of that. And ladies and gentlemen, the Giants have missed a 58-yard attempt.
Let's go.
Tyler Heineke is still not officially lost.
That's
I don't
Taylor.
think.
Put some respect.
Oh yeah,
on his
Taylor.
name.
Say it. Taylor. Tyler. It's all the same. It's all the same. Win a playoff game.
Producer Taylor Kredatus.
So only makes the. Now I'm just hoping for a quick little Sunday night football floof here with the Colts and Cowboys, and this will make this weekend pretty fucking awesome.
If the Colts beat Dallas, dude,
it's not going to happen.
But
on the chance that it does, you can kick your feet up. Like right now, after this, you can kick your feet up in the division almost. That's pretty incredible with, still, what do we got here? 4 games left to play? 5 games left to play? It's amazing that like you can consider a first round bye. The division might be like wrapped up by Christmas Eve if you end up beating the Cowboys. You can rest. You can get back. You don't have to rush Dallas Goedert. And I wonder this too. Do you feel like? I mean, it didn't look like Jordan Davis was rushed in here. They didn't play that many snaps. He didn't have to. Like, this is all good news after today. This is amazing.
Well, he limped off
today.
the field though in the middle of the game.
Yeah, Jeff McClain tweeted that. Yeah.
And
he did.
And that's
Okay.
from Jeff McClain. John.
I thought I thought I saw him come back out there after that. Maybe
No,
I'm crazy.
He did,
but
but
Yeah.
not a
stink
good
up.
start.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize he was in. They showed him on the field goal unit, which I didn't realize he was out there for the field goal unit. He was protecting on a kick on an extra point. I was like, oh, okay. The more you know. So yeah, he did get some snaps, but he didn't play a whole lot today, and that's a good thing. One, they didn't need him to, and two, don't rush anybody for any reason right now. I mean, it's because even though Minnesota just beat the Jets, like, you got the tiebreaker over them. So it's just such a mountain to climb, and that's why you feel so good about everything the rest of the way, because in terms of that race for the 1 seed, you already beat Dallas. You're ahead of them in the tiebreaker right now. You beat Minnesota. You're ahead of them in the tiebreaker right now. So it all comes down to that Christmas Eve game, how close are things there, and for everything else, I mean, who are you worried about? Like, some of these teams, like the next couple of weeks, you got the Giants, Chicago. Like, am I rushing anybody back for that? No,
not at all. And I guess like injuries are never good when they come. For what they were, how long they're going to take to recover. This is a fantastic timeline for the Eagles, and it's not just Jimmy G's hurt. Jimmy G got carted off.
Oh,
so
man.
I didn't see that part of it too. And it's coming right into a week where we're talking about all this stuff. Who is the threat in the NFC? And after today, like, you didn't need this game to figure that out. Nobody is. No one. Nobody. Not the Cowboys, even if they end up losing to them. Because if they play them in the playoffs again, they're going to fucking lose to that game with a fully healthy Eagles team versus a fully healthy Dallas team if you want to go that way. Like, there is nothing that has scared me at all. That's why I'm more excited just to let's get to the goddamn playoffs. Let's get to the NFC Championship game, because that's where they're going to be.
All right, well, I want to talk to Taylor for a second, because I just saw a reaction from Taylor over there, and I need to hear what's going through your head.
So you're not afraid of Geno Smith?
Not at all. Yeah, why would anybody be afraid of Geno Smith?
That's like the only random team I can't really like think of anybody else that would be semi.
Other than to me, they're the Titans of the NFC. Like,
oh,
they're
absolutely,
just a worse version
like
of
that.
it. So it's just kind of like, yeah, here we are.
I mean, Tampa right now is just one of those, like, they're technically the division winner. I don't know. If I'm playing Tom Brady in a playoff game, as much as I was like blood and guts last year going into it, I don't know.
It's they're
way better.
You could talk yourself into a billion possibilities into the NFC, but like in terms of being worried, scared, you should respect this, you should respect that. Fuck them all. I don't care about anybody.
Okay, I need more of this.
But
I need more of this.
That's nothing different than what I've said. I'm still looking at the Dolphins, who are currently probably going to kick the shit out of the 49ers. It's only going to make it worse because Jimmy G's out of there. There's so many contenders in the AFC that's where my head is. And I understand. I'm not gonna just beat you over the head week by week and tell you like, oh, they're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. They keep getting closer each week. And if they weren't doing that, I'd be more upset and more pissed off. If they came out here and laid an egg and still won 21-10, or if the Titans ended up coming back and making it a little closer, and there were times where they could have done that. They could have rested on their laurels and be like, no problem, we'll just throw a bomb, just like they've taken every other fucking team lightly through these last couple of weeks or whatever it is. And they didn't. They came out there, and we knew that they weren't going to lose this fucking game, probably, except for me. Big dumb idiot. But you got to know, I should have known, it's A.J. Brown. He's not losing this game. You're not losing this game to a trade, all of that. So I'm excited. I'm pumped up. I will get there. It's just going to be at the right time, because once this playoff train runs, you're not going to recognize me anymore. I'm saving it all. This is not like I need John to get excited because he's my barometer of how I should feel like a fucking Eagles fan. You figure that out on your own. I'm sitting pretty 16-1, and I want blood because, again, you're going to feel great now, but if they lose a divisional playoff game, you're going to feel like shit, and none of this is going to matter. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say. But that's not going to matter to me because no one in the NFC is going to be able to beat these guys at home.
No. No. And for these AFC teams, I mean, I get it. That's where all the talent is. That's where you're really worried. But you'd only play one of them, and it's on a neutral field.
It is.
So I'm okay. Like, I feel as good as you can feel.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's not like now because I've seen it already on Twitter a couple of times now that they beat the Titans, they haven't beaten anybody good. No, they're kicking the shit out of teams when they're supposed to most of the time, except when they've had these dings in the last couple of weeks of the season. And that's what is disappointing to me too, because like in a version of this where they're still undefeated, man, are they trying to chug along. Man, is there a lot of hype. They're trying to do something that's hardly ever been done before in the NFL or whatever you're chasing. And now it's just waiting to get to that point because none of these wins matter. Other than they'll have the bye locked up here in a week or two, hopefully. And that's it. It's just a waiting game. And that's all. I'm an impatient person when it comes to we knew this shit was coming, and I'd like to see the rest of it now. I'd like to, have them buck the trend of not having completely everything in the coaching experience and getting past that hump in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, like
game or whatever.
if this was a nice season of retro ball and you could simulate a couple of games and
maybe
get there.
rage quit a few times.
Yeah, then restart. Yeah, we can figure it out. But yeah, like I mean, I get that. But part of it is we didn't know what this team was going to be. Right? Like, we went into the season, and part of it was, I remember for you, your worst-case scenario was basically Jalen at the end of last season is how we'd feel at the end of this season. It's like, well, he's good, but is he great? Are you paying him how much and whatever? Like, are we just doing this again? So, the guy's great.
He's amazing.
The guy's great. He just makes good plays constantly. He's nothing but winning football. He's the heart of this team offensively. They've built it all around him. The coaching staff's made adjustments. It's just how great can they make it as a coaching staff? But the bare bones are really good.
Stat patter.
Was that's what Pat stat?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, tell everybody your theory on that too. Like Jalen's very aware of his stats,
Especially the touchdowns. The rushing touchdowns, because I feel like he gets those calls all the time. They showed the graphic after the Sunday night game. Whoever was interviewing him after, it's like, oh, you set this record for this amount of rushing yards. It's like, oh, did I? I didn't even know. It's like, no, dude, you're full of shit.
walking in today in a red jumpsuit and a briefcase and looking all slides like, oh, did I do that? Oh, I had no idea. Because he'll never say, like, I did that stuff. He's not the type of guy. He'll say that in the locker room.
He's built too much of a brand as being, I don't care about that, to suddenly go, yeah, I knew that was coming.
He's never going to say anything.
Yeah.
Well, and that's like, how special is Jalen Hurts? We were talking about this in the live stream, and I think he's incredibly special. But, you know, the physical tools and all that where everybody's still in love with, and you're going to go, you know, Tua will get mentioned probably a lot more than he does in terms of that. Like Herbert, Joe Burrow is on a planet on itself, so is Patrick Mahomes. We don't even need to debate that stuff, but that's like, I don't know. I think Jalen is going to end up being the king of the second tier eventually. And it's going to take him a couple more years for people to comfortably put him in that spot. But you've brought this up many times, and that he's just, you don't want to get into a Tim Tebow description because then it sounds ridiculous where it's like, it's the intangibles. It's all that. He's just so incredibly smart when it comes to decisions. And now that, you know, that he has this tool that no one thought that he would have in the passing game, it just amplifies that more and more of why he himself will not make the interceptions. He himself will not make the fumbles. That has come from, like, you know, a lot of bad penalties today or whatever it is. I don't think you can phase this guy. And that's what kind of like makes me pull back all this. Well, as long as he's ready and he's still the thermostat here, then what am I really going to be worried about? Other than like him just not having the ability or the knowledge at the time, that's really the only thing that is stopping Jalen Hurts and this football team from doing anything that they want to given the parameters.
Yeah, there's certain moments, like there was a moment in this game where Jalen got sacked. Bud Dupree came off the edge. He was totally unblocked between him and Hurts and Mailata. Like something was messed up on the protection. I don't know, it was wonky, and Jalen got smoked on that play. So there's stuff like that happens. But overall, yeah, his knowledge of things, his decision-making is phenomenal. And credit this, when it comes to him and A.J. Brown, because this is one of the things that I was worried about, too, when you bring in a guy like this that is his best friend and has been forever, and he's a wide receiver. You go, oh, he's just going to force the ball to A.J. He doesn't do that. Like, it comes and goes, you know? A.J.'s got games where he's got 50 yards. He's got games with 135. But it's because he's open, or he's open enough.
Always open.
Always open.
He's always
open.
Man. That's right. We just gave away the hoodie on the live stream. If you missed it, you missed it. But
That's why you got to tune in, guys.
he'll do it, and he'll make those decisions when he's single covered. He can make those plays, and that all flows. You know, it's not just like there's times where certain bad quarterbacks will just be like, all right, this is my guy. I just gotta I got nothing else. I'm just gonna chuck it up and hope that he's there. And Jalen doesn't do that.
Nope. No. Like it's just no. You'll have to throw it short. Maybe there's a few underthrows, like whatever. I think that's going to happen, but yeah, rarely does that. It's just there aren't a lot of negative plays coming out of him, and it's just another great example for him, AJ, and everybody else. But how this offense has just married the run and the passing game so much. Where, granted, when the offensive line is kicking ass and taking names, you can do whatever you want anyway. When the Titans secondary is gasping for air, you can do what you want anyway. But you just never know. You never know when, like, because he turned the corner today. You can break 1 for 10, and it's just It's that same stuff where it's instinct, it's knowledge. Yeah, he's going to break his pocket in the center probably too many times than you'd like him to, but rarely does that mess up a game because it's 1 or 2 times. It ends up in a positive play most of the time anyway. And, like, dude, he just keeps feeling more and more comfortable in that middle of the field where everybody thought, like, he's going to be Mitch Trubisky and stay away from this his entire career. And he keeps answering the fucking bell. And that's what I love. Out of one bad suit decision, not because of the style, just because of the message, he's been on fire. From walking into it, I even said today, should be like, I don't know, just that red jumpsuit. I keep thinking about it. He's got that style, the comfort, the confidence, and you don't even need to think about it. Don't even need to think about it.
I think they call it swag.
Swag, yeah.
Nowadays.
Something I desperately need, for sure. Because I don't have that. But I'm glad Jalen does here, man.
Your hat has it, though.
It does, which you can go get right now. BellandTheBird.com, thanks to our good friends over...
BellandTheBirdmen.com.
Did I? Yes, I'm cut it off because they're social. They got to fix that. That's on me. BellandTheBirdmen.com. That's M-A-N, not M-E-N. Or
No, it's M-E-N. You don't even know
our own show?
Do you know what the show is?
We do not.
He's Bell, I'm the Birdman.
BellandTheBirdmen.com. Thanks to our friends over at Forbidden Canvas because they are making these sweet-ass corduroy. I'd rather be watching the Birds hats. And while you're there, of course, go to liquiddeath.com/Bell, which is there as well because you need to find out where all of the amazing 16.9-ounce cans live around you, just as we do. Market 320, just by us in Sandbox Studios, has every single severed lime, mango, flat, and traditional black can sparkling waters, and just an incredible sponsor of the show. We appreciate them just as much as we do you. So go to liquiddeath.com/Bell because that helps everybody out, and have a celebratory Liquid Death on us today. And also, Kobe Dean looked pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Limited opportunities. All of the backups are there. Caused a penalty on the first play.
Well, that was great. Yeah, the first play that he's in the game, they run right at him. And what does he do? He draws a holding call and tackles Derrick Henry with one arm. I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. That was completely insane what he did there. So, yeah, nice to see him get a couple of snaps. He knocked the shit out of a guy on a special teams play, too.
He did, yeah.
So,
I think like in the opening. Yeah, for sure.
So he had a really strong couple of moments there, and everything just keeps hitting for this team.
The other thing that keeps happening, which I don't really know, this is my only other note, Jordan Mailata, slide protection, and like that whole thing of like who's picking the guy up and can we not have a penalty there? It might just be like the base knowledge of Jordan Mailata not playing football for that long, and that seems like but that is like a standard thing that keeps happening once a game. You can guarantee somebody's blown the coverage. In terms of the line protection.
Yeah, it's been a little wonky, especially the past, 3-4 weeks. I feel like Mailata's names just come up a lot for flags.
Yeah.
And they had a lot today. The whole offensive line had a lot of flags today. I mean, out of the, 10 or 11 penalties that they had, I feel like 8 of them were on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a lot. I mean, a lot of false starts and whatever. No illegal man downfield. So that's progress. If you want to count that. Good job, everybody. But
some offside penalties and some other stuff.
Yeah, and
great,
on the defensive side, Josh Sweat had that offsides, which led to that one drive, which the Titans actually scored a touchdown. It was because on third down, Sweat went offsides. But anyway, Mailata's been a little sloppy the last couple of weeks. But as much as he's making those mistakes, Jalen did get killed this one time, but he didn't get injured, which is okay. They got to clean it up, though.
Big time. Yeah, because it's just for the same reasons. Concussion, take you out of the game, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's just... Yeah, it was not great. By the way, just a quick note, Nick Sirianni also just as pissed at the penalties as he takes the blame for himself for the 11 pre-snap penalties that he did not like. So that was not great.
Woof.
But, man, Taylor Kredatus, any final thoughts, buddy? This was just a fucking amazing, dominating win. A nice stepping stone for Jalen, AJ, Devontae, the offense. I'll even say, way to go, Shane Steichen, for not being a fucking idiot today. There you go. Don't often hear that, but
he called a really good game. He wasn't just not a fucking idiot today. Yeah, I gotta defend him today. Today I will step up for Shane Steichen.
I'm glad they got all the dumb penalties out for this game.
Yeah, I can't.
Thank God that wasn't one last week.
Yeah, jeez.
Oh, you know what? We might as well do it too. Shout out Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah,
10 points. They dominated.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
Yeah. Coaching staff was great today, other than said Nick Sirianni blame himself for all the pre-snap penalties and things like that. So the good thing is, in just a little bit here, I mean, we got only 7 days to turn this thing around. We're heading to New York. We're going to go watch a tied football team. They're going to destroy the Giants, which is going to be great.
I love hearing you say that. Yeah.
They're going to kill the Giants.
All right.
They're going to kill them.
Yeah, John. Okay.
It'll be fun to see Daniel Jones run his chicken little head going back and forth. Taylor Kredatus informed me today that he had 8 comeback wins. 5 of them, I think, might have been from this year.
Game deciding
drives.
Yeah.
So I doubt there'll be any of those. Make sure to go to phillysportstrips.com/bell if you still want to join us for the tailgate. For that, of course, Chicago is going to be on the 18th of December. So we got our last two road trips of the season. Then, of course, we'll be right back at the Gatehouse for the playoffs, for tailgates and things like that. Actually, we might do a tailgate for the last Giants game, the last game of the year, too, just to warm things back up literally and figuratively there. So, Vince Quinn, final thoughts?
Yeah, thanks to everybody that hung out on the live stream. Appreciate everybody that's with us as we were here throughout the day. Thanks to everybody for listening to this. Shout out to Drew from Philly Sports Shirts, who gave us the A.J. Brown hoodie that we gave away. He's been a great partner to us as well. So seeing all that, one thing, thanks to everybody. Second is just, they just did everything I needed to see them do today. If I was to write up like the movie script of what makes everybody feel good, this was it. They did it. Ready for next week.
Yeah, me too. Go subscribe, bellandthebirdmen.com. Thanks to everybody again for listening, watching, wherever you're doing that on YouTube or wherever you're getting your podcasts. I'm John Barchard for Vince Quinn and Taylor Kredatus. This is Bell and the Birdmen right here on bellandthebirdmen.com. Okay, bye.